What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, and today there are 10 things that I hate about you. And we're going to talk about them openly. First of all, I hate your face. Yeah, I said it. I'm a blind film critic. I don't even know what your face looks like, but I hate it. It's just that you have one. Just, just that it exists. And the way that you smell. We've never met. I don't like the way you smell either. Anyway, there are like eight other things, but I feel like two. We're good. Face, smell, done, solid. 10 things I hate about you is celebrating his 25th anniversary, and I love the movie. I have a digital copy of it because it had audio description. I actually own it on DVD, but my DVD copy does not have audio description, so I actually have to own 2 copies of this motherfucking movie because that's the way motherfucking Hollywood wants us to motherfucking watch movies now. As blind people, they're like, you know what makes sense? Why don't we make you pay for accessibility? And I'm like, motherfuck you. So yeah, fun times. So yeah, this is Julia Stiles, Heath Ledger, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Larisa Olyenik, Andrew Keegan, got Gabrielle Union's in this, Larry Miller, Allison Janney, she pops up. She's in here as well for like a hot second. David Krumholtz. It's a adaptation of Taming of the Shrew for people who are like, what is this? Well, it's a little like Clueless in that they took a teen idea. They looked at, what could they do with something from the past? Could they wrap it into this teen movie? And they came up with 10 Things I Hate About You. So you have 2 sisters, Bianca, played by Larisa Olyenik, who's the younger, popular one. And then you have Kat, played by Julia Stiles, who's the older one. And Bianca is really, desired by this male model, played by Andrew Keegan, who he really wants to date her, but her dad has a rule that they can't date. He delivers babies all day long, and so I guess he's seen way too many teen pregnancies, and he refuses to let. Larry Miller does a great job here, by the way. It's a great role for Larry Miller. Very underrated. It's a teen movie, and we don't often talk about adult roles in teen movies, but Larry Miller is killing the game here. He just does such a great job as a father, and every scene that he has pops because he reads it perfectly. Like the dialogue is just spot on. But yeah, he's got to let these 2 girls kind of stay close to home because he's worried that something might happen. But also, Kat is just not really into it. She's not into. So he makes up the rule that Bianca can date when Kat is dating because he doesn't think Kat will ever date. So that leads not just Andrew Keegan's character, but also Cameron, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, is also has a connection with Bianca, and he's the nicer of the 2. The one that you get an idea that he's just not trying to immediately have sex with her and then dump her, like it's a conquest or something like that. And his best friend is played by David Krumholtz. And this is their quest to try to get someone to date Kat so that they can date Bianca. And they try to rope Andrew Keegan in because Andrew Keegan, being a male model, is the one with the money. So he pays Heath Ledger's character, who is this rough Australian kid with this sketchy background. There are all these rumors about things that he did, and he ate all of a duck except the beak or something like that. And where was he before this? Oh, he was in jail. you know, he killed somebody, you know, like, I mean, there's so many different rumors about him, and he just gives off this persona, this vibe that makes it feel like it's true. And so they think that he'll be down for anything, including the dangerous cat. Uh, so he takes the money and pursues Cat, and of course and he ends up actually falling for her instead of, you know, necessarily. He just kind of takes the money anyway and mostly just spends it on her. But he ends up enjoying the time. At first, it seems like it's a little bit of an imposition for him, but once he gets to know Kat, he ends up liking her and seeing her for who she is, and how, you know, she's free spirited and strong willed. She wants to go to this, you know, women's college and just go off and be, I'm sure, a feminist icon. I'm sure there'd be a sequel to this film where she went off and became, I don't know, the leader of something. You know, I feel like she's breaking glass ceilings, you know, this character. But the movie also, you can see the little, it also references Shakespeare a lot. Like, if you weren't aware it was Taming of the Shrew, they're going to mention Shakespeare a lot. Like, they got to talk about Shakespeare in class. They have this, you know, cool teacher who gives them this, he does a little bit of like rapping as Shakespeare, like in verse, and then gives them this assignment to write something like in verse, like Shakespeare. There's a character that's obsessed with Shakespeare, and David Krumholtz ends up liking her and starts and works that relationship. So he gets his own thing. So he's not just like the sidekick that has no romantic prospects of any kind. I don't know. I like this movie. I've always liked this movie. I've seen this movie a bunch of times. I probably could have watched it without audio description, but that's not really the point. The point is that every film should have audio description. So I'm happy that it does, and I supported the fact that it does this was like $4.99 in the Apple Store, so I got a digital copy of it that had audio description. And I enjoyed it, and sat down, and audio description was really well, I'm not gonna say like really well done. I would say it's done well. So it matches the tone, the jokes. There are a couple, you know, different sight gags. The one that I thought was maybe undercut a little bit was only because the joke is so over the top. Is there's a scene where Larry Miller's like working out, and he has one of these like stretch band things, and it does say that it gets sent off flying or something like that, but it doesn't just get sent off flying. It gets like cartoonishly sent off flying, like into like, I think like into like the neighbor's house or something like that. He's got this like stretch rubber stress thing where you have to pull it apart. I don't know, and he snaps at it, and Bianca says something, and he causes him to snap it, and it flies, and it really fucking flies. So, it was a little like under. I know that's really specific, but it was just like a little under described of a joke. But for the most part, I felt like this was. I was picking up what this movie was putting down like all the time, 24/7. So, yeah, I like it. You like it. I love 10 Things I Hate About You. I mean, it has so many iconic moments to me. Like, I was a teen when this movie came out, so I liked watching the big moment where Heath Ledger breaks out into song, you know, with the band and everything. I love you, baby, and if it's quite all right. And that has audio description over it, which I thought was really funny because you can still hear it, but then also you can get the antics that he's doing because he's hilariously sort of like being chased, I guess, by security. The best way to describe that. campus security, I don't know, um, for making this bold gesture for Kat. And he so that scene's memorable, and it's actually well described for people who are I talk a lot about people with musicals, and I'm like, well, I don't want them to do audio description over the singing. And I'm like, well, this isn't really a musical. It's just he's singing a popular song to try to woo her. Um, so I don't mind it as much. And you got the craziness of him running back and forth and trying to avoid being captured so he can finish the song. So yeah, that worked. Um, One of those rare cases of, if you're ever wondering what audio descriptions on top of a musical number could sound like, it would be this. It's a little bit of a clusterfuck, but not terrible. It wasn't like unapproachable. If I was showing up for him, I mean, we got like Wicked coming out, so if I'm showing up to hear somebody sing Defying Gravity, I want to hear Defying Gravity. You know what I'm saying? I want to experience that. I don't want to experience somebody talking over Defying Gravity. So you just got to know when to play your cards, I think, is the big thing. So that's the tough. It's a tough battle between the people who are obsessed with music theater and then the people who are just going to these things, who aren't obsessed with music theater, but they watch things and they want audio description. And it's like the people who are obsessed with music theater also really love the songs. And that's why they have a lot of these movies end up getting like re-releases as sing-alongs. It's because the audience will literally do that. So don't put it past Wicked to be re-released into theaters with a sing-along version. So Wicked, the sing-along. Because they will. They will sing along. There will be a whole bunch of little music theater children in the front row singing Popular. Like, popular, I want to be popular. Yeah, I'll be doing that. So, I don't know. I miss Heath Ledger. So that's probably the biggest takeaway from 10 Things I Hate About You. The last thing I wanted to close on is I miss Heath Ledger. Larisa Olyenek's character, I don't know what happened to Larisa as an actress, but I remember being really jazzed she was in this because I, as a kid that grew up in this time period, I watched The Secret World of Alex Mack, and I was like, oh my God, Alex Mack is in a movie. And of the people in this film, her and Andrew Keegan just kind of fell off the radar completely, and everybody else kind of stuck around. So yeah, but Heath Ledger, rest in peace. He was great here. He's so charming, breakout role. You look at this and you go, how did that dude play the Joker? How did that dude do Brokeback Mountain? Like, you're not getting any of those vibes here. So it's so interesting to watch it after having seen the rest of his depth of body of work. And it's just like a charming teen performance. And he just does it so well. It's very effortless. So if you haven't seen 10 Things I Hate About You, check it out. If they did try to make it into a TV series, so there's a TV series version of it that I think that may have audio description on Disney Plus. I don't know, something like that. Maybe not. Maybe who knows? I don't care. This did not need a TV adaptation. It's fine the way that it is. And watching people who are not this cast doesn't excite me. So I like watching this version. It has aged perfectly. I think it's a little like Mean Girls, where it still feels relevant. Like, nobody's on their cell phone, but for some reason it doesn't bother me. I'm not sitting here going like, why isn't anybody on their cell phone? Nobody's posting TikToks. It's just like, I think kids will still get this. I think this film still works. I don't think it's aged in a way where people are like, well, that would never happen today. I think people are like, well, aside from, Heath Ledger's character smoking, which I think smoking has become even more passé over the years. Here, it's not like it's necessarily celebrated, but I don't even think the bad boy characters in current movies would bother doing it. I don't even, does anybody on the cast of Euphoria even smoke? I think they just all do drugs, but if you probably offer one of them a cigarette, they'd be like, oh my God, no. No. I don't do that. My body is a temple. Give me that LSD. give me my random prescription medication that you have picked out for me to take in this show. I'm gonna give 10 Things I Hate About You an A+ because it is a Desert Island movie for me. So that's the surprise, is that this is a movie I love to watch. It's a movie I've seen over 10 times. I actually had the opportunity to be in a production of Taming of the Shrew, so of William Shakespeare works. Since this is the William Shakespeare work that as an actor I have done, I enjoyed. I was David Krumholtz's character, by the way. The equivalent of David Krumholtz's character would be the best way to describe that. Or Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character. One of those two. Some they don't quite line up perfectly, but I was over in that zone of the thing. It's not like they have the same names, so I was trying to think. I was like, it's like, yeah, I think, yeah, it was one of those two. I was one of those two, basically. So, check it out. You may have to buy it. Sorry about that. But hey, you know what? At least you're not like me where, well, maybe you're not like me where you now own 2 copies of the film. So, fuck you, Hollywood. Thank you very much. And Brave New World with digital media. We can put all these different languages on there, but we're not going to put audio description. We're just going to slowly pretend like nobody's watching. Thanks for watching, though, here. Watch me talk about it. And I will see you guys on the other side.